I'm the president of LABI, the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We are the State Chamber of Commerce. We're the State Manufacturing Association. We have 2,500 plus members around the state, ranging from big companies to small mom and pops. And we represent business interests across the state. And we do it in the state capitol, and we do it in the public policy debates that you hear about every single day in your newspaper. Today's our annual meeting. We're very excited. We're going to have over 1,000 people here in attendance. And we've got a great guest speaker, Charles Krauthammer, the columnist, is coming in to address the audience. And in the morning, we're going to start it off with a morning panel on the state's workforce challenge. We've all heard the great announcements coming. There's going to be between $70 and $90 billion in new projects. It's going to require 250,000 skilled workers, and 69,000 of those workers have to be STEM certified, science, math, engineering. And so that's the challenge facing our state. And so it's at our doorstep, and we've got to rise to the challenge. And so we'll be talking about how we do that today and how we move forward as a state so we can compete with other states and other countries for those jobs.
Louisiana has such an incredible opportunity right now with the boom that's taken place along this coast, this energy boom that we're experiencing now and will be experiencing for the next many years. We need to, there's so many jobs to be filled. You hear different estimations of 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. And for me, the most important thing is that most of those jobs are filled by people here in Louisiana. It's an opportunity for people to improve their way in life, but key to that will be having the skills needed to make that happen. And our workforce issue is the biggest issue we face this year with the number of jobs we need to fill. We need our public schools, we need our trade schools, we need higher education all to step up and help us get those folks trained. And it's important that we have the business community communicate what their needs are in these new jobs that will be developed in Louisiana in the next years. We'd rather those jobs be filled by people here in Louisiana than from across the country, but if we can't find those folks here in Louisiana, those jobs will be filled by others from across the country who will move here. I'd like to see our citizens fill those positions first.
LABI has just put out a report on workforce development. What are the key issues in that report that will be carried to the legislature this spring?
I would say that the key issue in that report is the fact that there is no silver bullet for us to meet our workforce demand. It's going to take a holistic approach, and kind of how we see in our healthcare challenges where we talk about a continuum of care. We have to have a continuum approach when it comes to workforce. We need our K-12 schools to be rising up and stepping up to the plate and doing a better job in providing technical training and preparation for those students. And as we move them into the 4-year system and the 2-year system, we need them to be focusing their investments on the jobs that are needed, and not just spreading the investments thin into different areas. We need to have a laser-like focus on using our dollars to prepare our kids for the jobs that are there, because that's best for the students. You don't want to train students in jobs that aren't in the state. Why do we want to train kids to leave? And so we need our institutions of higher education to focus those dollars on the job demand we have here in the state. And then lastly, we need our government to step up in their ways also. With DC, we need some freedom with the Workforce Investment Act. We need to free up some of those grant dollars that come down here so we can target them on programs that work and not forced to put them in silos that are been around for a long time but don't quite meet the mark. And so there's kind of a holistic approach. There's a government piece, there's a K-12 piece, and there's a higher ed piece as well.
I think very clearly things have never looked brighter for us with regard to workforce development. I think we have alignment now amongst the public institutions that we've never had before, but best of all, we've got partnerships with business and industry that a few years ago we only dreamed of. And so our efforts now to produce a workforce are much more than ever before aligned to the specific needs of business and industry.
A lot of new jobs coming into Louisiana in the next several years. What's going to take to get those jobs filled with Louisiana residents?
Well, it's going to take a lot of effort, but it takes specifically the alignment that I'm talking about, that the institutions that actually train people, that we help them recruit, that we get everybody in the state involved and make these jobs available to everybody. Then we have the training and the education systems in place to make sure that when these folks get out and graduate, that they're equipped with the skills they need for those specific jobs, and they're going to get hired quickly.
Tell us, what's your message here today?
Message is that working together with industry and government, Louisiana's higher education system is prepared to meet the workforce needs for our state.
What's your reaction to the report on the workforce development that LABI has put out?
It's encouraging that there's going to be a focus on producing serving the workforce needs of our state.
Tell us a little bit about the jobs that are coming up and why this is so important, and the role that higher education plays.
The jobs in engineering, construction management, and IT are growing rapidly in our state, and higher education has a key role to play.
Our company has grown significantly in the last 3 to 4 years through major acquisitions. We're in the process of adapting to that growth. We're now an international company with operations in all 50 states and overseas, a wide range of telecommunications services, mostly highly technical jobs that we're needing to fill. We also have made a commitment to create 800 new jobs in Monroe, Louisiana, in that area up there. Most of these will be highly technical, and we are like any other company in the state. We're competing for some highly skilled labor, along with other markets in Louisiana, also with markets in Texas and all through the country. So our mission right now is to partner with the universities here. We would prefer to hire out of Louisiana if we can, and we're working with the universities in Northeast Louisiana. We want to work with the universities all over the state to create the partnerships to help develop the curriculums we will need to fill these jobs.
Workforce development, of course, is always important, but when we look at the tremendous opportunity here over the next several years, the renaissance and the increased production of natural gas is provided, here in Louisiana and throughout our country, is really putting a demand on increased workforce to pursue these opportunities. For ExxonMobil specifically, we've got a large presence here in Baton Rouge and in the state. And we're in a continuing state of bringing in new employees and contractors into our site, and frankly, we see the challenge ahead of us on finding the high-skilled workers that we need at our site. One of the things that we're very supportive of are the Common Core standards to drive a higher level of competency and capability of the young people coming out of the schools, whether they're going into the trades to come work in our plants. Or whether they're going into the colleges and come out as the engineers that we'll be employing in the future. We need to raise the bar. We need higher standards when it comes to math and science, and we just think that's critical to our economy here in Louisiana and the nation.
Well, we've got a simple question in front of us, and that is, with the jobs that are growing in our state, are these going to be Louisiana high school graduates and college graduates taking these jobs, or are going to be somebody else's graduates? And that's a question of economic opportunity for our people. It's a question of economic opportunity for the rest of our state. And we believe that ending the stigma on technical education and raising academic standards for all Louisianans is key to preparing a workforce that's really ready to take these jobs. And at the end of the day, that's the question in front of us.
Are you encouraged by the potential that workforce development offers for the citizens of Louisiana?
Yeah, as an educator, I'm deeply encouraged for two reasons. Number one, preparing kids directly for jobs is really important, and we've got to end the decades-old stigma that has existed against career education in our country. But at the same time, I know as a high school educator that there are plenty of kids for whom the traditional classroom doesn't create that excitement and motivation, and sometimes getting kids in a different environment where they can use skills in a different way and learn different skills or learn the same skills in a different sense is important for their learning and keep them motivated, keep them in school.
The message here is that with women comprising half of all jobs in the national economy's workforce, it's incumbent upon us in Louisiana to make sure that we're preparing women of all ages to take STEM-related jobs. Jobs in science, technology, engineering, math are going to be crucial to the growth of the state as well as crucial to the growth of the U.S. economy.
What job opportunities do you see in Louisiana over the next several years?
We heard presentations today from not just AT&T and CenturyLink, but also from ExxonMobil, from Sasol, and other companies who are very dynamic and looking to fill hundreds of thousands of jobs over the next 5 to 10 years that will help the economy grow. And it doesn't matter to them whether the jobs are held by males or females. It matters to them that they're held by qualified people, educated people, and people who have the soft skills necessary to deal with customers in today's environment.
I think the biggest thing for people to keep in mind is we're no longer competing town versus town or North Louisiana versus South Louisiana. It's a global economy. It's here. And so if we step up and do the little things and prepare our kids, we can win, we can dominate against other states and other countries. It's kind of up to us. How bad do we want it? How bad do we want to grow? We've got a lot of great things in the state. We've got the resources, we've got the infrastructure, we're close to water, we're close to ports. We've got all the intangibles. The question is, are we going to step up to the plate and supply that workforce that employers of the 21st century need to grow and expand? For the last 5 years in the recession, people have been sitting on capital all around this world. There's capital there. It's about to start freeing up. It's about to start getting investment. It should come here. and it will come here if we prepare our kids to work in those facilities.
Our state government can't accomplish what needs to be accomplished without the input from the business community. It's important that we communicate our needs, it's important that we communicate what allows us to create jobs, to grow our economy here in the state, and of course that increases the tax base for the state of Louisiana. It's a win-win for both, but it can't happen with the state working in the dark without input from the private sector on what our needs are.
What's your reaction to everything that you've seen and heard here today?
Absolutely incredible. You know, LABI has been such a premier institution for so many years, headed by Dan Juneau for 24 years. Dan did a wonderful job coming in behind Ed Steimel, created a legacy of his own, and had absolutely big shoes to be filled over these since he took over 24 years ago. But you know, to see Stephen Waguespack, young, enthusiastic, intelligent, tech-savvy, just so connected and in tune with the private sector and state government, it's a win-win for LABI, and LABI has not finished growing. We're going to close one chapter and open the next chapter to further improvement and development of LABI, and LABI is here to stay.
Why is membership in LABI so important?
You know, for me, from a small business perspective, we don't have a lobbyist on staff who takes care of our needs, and for us to belong to LABI means that we have someone here in Baton Rouge representing our interests, and who we can communicate with on our needs and what's affecting us and our ability to run our businesses, and have LABI step to the plate and protect us, defend us, and do what needs to be done to make sure that we can grow our businesses, create jobs, and improve the economy of the state. So, you know, the membership in LABI is vital. They are our voice here in Baton Rouge.
If people have questions, like more information, what should they do?
Sure. You know, LABI, we have a website like everyone else does these days, www.labi.org. A lot of information there. You can find the report we mentioned earlier and all kind of other information. And, you know, we're always working 24/7, so if you ever need us, just call us.